Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls, coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share another card that I made in my Sparkle and Shine class from Altenew. This one using the Altenew Mini Delight Floral Congrats stamp and die set, and then a frame die that I had in my stash. So let me show you how it's made. Okay, so we're going to start by stamping and heat embossing our two flowers here. This is from the Mini Delights A Floral Congrats outline stamp set. And I don't care where on the paper I'm going to stamp because I am going to die cut it anyway. But before I heat emboss, I need to hit this with my anti-static pad. And I'm going to stamp with a black opaque pigment and heat emboss with my black embossing powder. I'm going to color these before I die cut them. And along with that set, it's got a die set. And I cut two of the leaves out of just this kind of light green cardstock. And then I cut these little flowers, two of each, out of some white. And I'm going to ink those while I'm inking this. And then I've got the die for these that I'm going to cut out, but I'm going to go ahead and ink them first. I'm just going to use I want kind of a soft color. So I'm going to use my dusty pink. And I'm going to try and keep it within the flower, but if it goes a little bit outside, it doesn't matter that much because I am going to die cut them out. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to color these in just one shade, kind of a darker pink. And all I'm going to do is just kind of give it a darker color in the center. Now I do need to color the centers of those. I'm just going to get a little detail brush and I'm going to color those centers with a little bit of this Snapdragon. Okay, now I'm going to die cut these out. I've got everything I need to make my card. It's a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. And then I cut just a small layer of, this is a white shimmer card with a hint of gold. And I'm going to raise that up on some foam. And this is just a thin foam sheet with, it's got adhesive on one side. So I'll use that adhesive side on my card blank. It doesn't have to be perfectly shaped because it's not going to show. And then I'm going to put my tacky glue on the back of my shimmer cardstock. Then I've got this frame, and it's a die set. It's actually a Crafter's Companion fancy nesting die frame, and it's got the outer frame and then the inner die. And I cut it 4 times in white and once in gold, and I glued them all together, and you can see how thick that is. So it's nice and sturdy. And I'm going to put that onto my card blank, just kind of right in the middle, just like so. Then I'm going to put my florals kind of down here in the bottom part with some foliage, and then I've got my extra flowers that are going to go in here as well. It's kind of like that. Okay. I don't love these flowers, so I am thinking I'm going to darken them up. So this is Raspberry Sunset, and I am just gonna paint in here. I think the flowers are just too light colored. And normally if I'm watercoloring, I would have used watercolor card, but I wasn't planning on watercoloring, but I think the pale pink is just too pale. So we're gonna try a darker color. Never be afraid to change your mind, because sometimes what you have in mind just isn't, doesn't come together exactly how you thought. And it's okay to say, don't love that. We're going to try something a little bit different. I stuck with the same color family, so my little flowers are going to be fine with this. They're going to coordinate just fine. Okay, let's see if I like that better. So go back to my card. Yes, I do like that much better. I'm going to put those down here at the base of my card. Put my foliage in. And again, I always dry fit my flowers, before I glue them down. Make sure I know where I want them, how I want them. Now these look... Now I think my little flowers don't look watercolory enough, if that's a word. So I'm just going to get a little bit of water and just kind of wet that ink that's already on them, so they look a little more watercolory. I don't know if you can see the difference, but to me, these look a little softer, a little more blended, like watercolor. So I think that's better. Okay. So I'm going to start with my flowers, the large flowers. And this is where I love my 3D claw glue. Okay. That's pretty. And I just need a little sentiment. Now for my sentiment, I just stamped on a little scrap of that white shimmer card with a touch of gold, and then cut that at an angle, and then I just glued it on top of a scrap of the gold, and again just kind of cut everything except that side is going to be flush because it's going to go right over against this edge like that, and this is going to go right under like that. Okay, so let me get some more of my 3D glue. It's going to go right there. Perfect. Okay, and we're all done. Love how that came out. Thanks for watching.